Croeso nôl. Heddi ni'n mynd i edrych ar y Revolve tool mwyn creu rhywbeth fel hyn. Today we're going to look at the Revolve tool to create a vase using a very simple technique called Revolve. Okay, this is a vase that I 3D printed using the 3D printers we have in school. Straight from a model that I designed in Onshape. So, we start every new part with a sketch and select a sketch plane. As you've probably noticed now, I usually pick the right plane, but it makes no difference. I'm going to look straight on at the right plane using the cube here. And I'm going to start with a line tool. Now, I'm going to draw an axis up the center, and I'm going to define the top and bottom of the vase. Now, to use the Revolve tool, I only draw half of the vase. So I'm only going to draw this segment here. Okay, just half of the vase, and the axis is the center line. All will be explained in a minute. So the maximum height of our 3D printers is 100 millimeters. So I'm going to use the dimension tool to set the axis to be 100 millimeters high. Just going to drag that down so we can see it all. And I'm going to set the width at the top, dimension, drag. I'm going to make that 15 millimeters, and the same at the bottom, 15 millimeters. Excellent. Let's just go back to look straight on using the right tab here. Fab. Oh, no. There we are. Center mouse button to move and drag. So that's our axis for the center, and the base of the vase is going to be 15 millimeters, and the top is going to be 15 millimeters. I'm now going to move to the spline tool. And spline gives us nice curvy edges or curvy lines. So I'm going to start at the bottom here. Notice that the square highlights, so that attaches to the end of that line. And I'm going to drag out and draw a few lines like this. And when we get to the top, notice that it's a square again, so it's attaching. I'm going to double click there. So that closes my line. Now if I want to refine this curve, just press escape so we get out to that tool. And then I can click on these little dots, these vertices, and I can adjust my curves, a bit like that. Now I'm fairly happy with that. You can also use these white little vertices here, and they just pull the edges, the ends of the line, so you can just modify those as well. But I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So we could put dimensions on these vertices, but because it's just a nice flowing line, I'm going to leave it like that for now and leave them in blue. I'm happy with my sketch, so I'm going to click on the big green tick here, and I'm going to pick my Revolve tool, and the Revolve is right next to the extrude here. Revolve, and I'm going to pick a sketch, the face first that I want to revolve, like that. There we are, that's selected. And then the revolve axis. The axis is the center line where I want to spin this shape around. So revolve axis. And this is the center line here. And there we have it. If I just tilt it over, we can see that the preview gives me a revolved shape. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to click the big green tick. And there we have it. That's our vase type shape. Let's bring it back to the center. Now these work planes are a bit distracting, so I'm going to get rid of these by hiding, as I've done in the previous videos. At the left hand side here, I'm just going to click on the eyeball icon just to get rid of these, and the origin as well. Now notice my vase is hollow. There we are, you can see it in the camera there. It's hollow, so I need to take the inside of this vase, virtual vase, out. And I'm going to use the shell tool. And you can see the shell tool here. And shell will take everything out from the inside, and also it asks me which face I want to remove. So I'm going to remove the top face, then that will allow me a hole to poke my to put my flowers in. And it asks for a shell thickness of 2.5 millimeters. Seems to look pretty good for this. So I'm going to leave it at 2.5. Okay, if I wanted a thicker wall, obviously I put a bigger number in there. A thinner wall, I'd put a smaller number in there. In fact, just to show you, I've changed that to 2. And we notice that the neck of the vase gets a little bit thin. Actually, that looks better. So, big green tick. Lovely. So then my vase is now hollow, we can see inside, with an uniform wall thickness of 2 millimeters all the way around. Just to refine it a little bit further, I'm just going to put a little fillet on this top edge just to give us a nice smooth entry into the neck of the vase. So I'm going to pick fillet. If I zoom in a little bit, then we can pick these edges. I'm going to change the radius because the radius of 5 is obviously way too big. That's given me a warning there with an orangey red line. Can't do that. So I'm going to put a 1 millimeter radius on there. There we are. And the preview is fine. So I'm going to click my big green tick again. And there we have it. A nice radiused mouth to my vase. There we are. And then, as I mentioned previously, we can take this as an STL, export it to 3D print on our 3D printers. Thank you very much. Diolch am wylio. Now you have a go. Okay, nawr gewch chi tro ar wneud hwn eich hunan. Okay, please have a go to make this and share with me and your team. Diolch yn fawr.